Okay, folks, I'm going to now say good afternoon because it is 12 o'clock, and happy Friday. I realize that some of you were in those extended law and ethics sessions and you're just getting your food, so feel free to eat. But we're going to go ahead and get the program started so that we can get everyone out to enjoy your long Labor Day weekend. A couple of quick announcements. First off, one of our attendees lost their wallet sometime yesterday, I believe. If anyone happens to have seen it, please let us know. You can also just take it over here to the chapter registration office that's right outside the doors. We've also checked with Lost and Found at the hotel, and it has not turned up yet. In the more happy news, our Great Places program, which I talked about the other day, has opened. We have 3 nominees. You probably got some emails. The voting is open for the next at least 10 days. I think September 13th is when it closes. This is not limited to just APA members, so put it on your social media. Encourage your friends, neighbors, whatever, to take a look at the various nominees, and we will be announcing the winner in October during Community Planning Month. Okay, a couple of really strong thank yous to our sponsors and exhibitors. Everyone hopefully had a chance to see our exhibitors in the exhibit hall. There is an exhibitor guide. Our sponsor slideshow PowerPoint has been going. So can we just get a round of applause for all of the help they've done? If you don't know, it really helps to defray the costs of this event, and it would be significantly more expensive for registrants without their help. You know what else we really need to help and thank? The Gold Coast section and all of the volunteers who were helped put this together. So if you are in the room and you volunteered in any way for this conference, please stand up. All right, thank you very much. And one more really big thank you to the APA Florida chapter office staff, who I believe are outside still letting people in. But again, you all can imagine the amount of work that normally goes into a conference, and then just think about what we've been trying to do over the last 6 weeks. So staff and the executive committee and the whole volunteer staff has made this happen, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Who was at the reception last night? How was it? All right, good. I guess it was that good that you didn't wake up on time this morning. Understood. All right, one more thank you to all of you. Again, it was really challenging. We know that. We are thankful that you came and also tried and helped to make this as safe and welcoming and educational and fun conference as possible. So give yourselves a round of applause. All right, so now I'm going to call up Whit Blanton, who is our president-elect, to join me on stage as we go through a few of our leadership awards. I want to start, we're going to present our Lifetime Achievement Award first to Kim Glass-Castro, AICP. Kim is not here with us today, but we will have someone accepting the award on her behalf in just a minute. But just so you know, Kim has been an active and exemplary member of APA at the section, chapter, and national level since 1989, and a member of AICP since 1992. She currently serves as Assistant Village Manager in Palm Springs after serving as Palm Springs Planning, Zoning, and Building Director from 2014 to 2020. She previously served as a senior level planner with Palm Beach County and the City of Palm Beach Gardens, as well as 2 private law firms working on a wide variety of complex planning projects. Kim's steadfast commitment to the advancement of planning is not limited to her day job. She's also the vice mayor of the town of Lake Park, first elected in 2013. As a strong advocate for visioning, master planning, and consensus-formed priority setting, Kim has used her planning expertise and leadership skills to improve citizen participation and transparency in the town's decision-making. She has also served in the Palm Beach County League of Cities and is active at the state level for the Florida League of Cities. In recognition of her tireless efforts to combat efforts to limit municipal home rule during the annual Florida legislative session, we all know that's a challenge every year, Kim has received the Florida League of Cities Home Rule Hero Award every year since 2017. All right, almost done. At the chapter level, Kim served as a volunteer on the Legislative Policy Committee and the Bylaws Committee. She was elected first as VP of Section Affairs in 2004 and as President-elect in 2006. As President of APA Florida from 2008 through 2010, Kim led chapter opposition to the Hometown Democracy Constitutional Amendment, oversaw an extension revision of chapter communication activities, and improved the chapter's support of its sections and activities at the local level. Her extensive and sustained professional community service and volunteer activities, both in public and private sector, and her ability to incorporate and promote effective planning principles in all her endeavors, exemplify the sustained contributions to the planning profession and the development and mission of APA at the local, regional, state, and national levels that this award is intended to recognize. Please join me in congratulating Kim on this award. And Kristen Nowicki, our Broward section chair, will be receiving the award and getting it to Kim. No, you're good. No photo. Correct. Correct. Okay, our next award is for Outstanding Public Interest Group. We're going to present this award to the Gainesville Citizens for Active Transportation, also known as GCAT, and its allied organizations, Gators Against Student Pedestrian Deaths. Their work resulted in an effective planning and advocacy effort to change the street design and traffic enforcement along a major state highway that is a boundary of the University of Florida campus. I believe both Whit and I have worked on that road, and it's been a challenge for decades. GCAT is a citizen-led coalition advocating for active transportation in Gainesville and Alachua County. The group is a nonprofit social welfare organization formed to advocate for complete streets practices that promote cycling, walking, disability access, and transit through education and advocacy for a safe and convenient network of multi-use trails and streets. Following the tragic death of 2 UF students, these 2 groups were instrumental in creating a planning document, Not One More, a call to action for pedestrian, bicycle, and motorist transportation safety in Gainesville and Alachua County. This work formed the basis for continued public advocacy efforts by UF students, parents, and community members, facilitating several multimodal safety projects within Gainesville. And perhaps most importantly, GCAT and its partners have mounted an effective political advocacy campaign that has gotten the attention of state officials and garnered cooperation with the Florida Department of Transportation at a level that has not previously been achieved in Gainesville. Their advocacy does not solely focus near the campus, but is community-wide with a strong awareness of the need for equity and access in underserved parts of Gainesville. They are also not present, but we will be getting the award to them in a future event, but please take a moment and congratulate with me. Okay, our next award and award recipient is present. The Distinguished Contribution to the Chapter, which recognizes an APA Florida member who has contributed to the goals and objectives of the chapter and its development plan through an extraordinary effort. This year, it is my great pleasure to present this award to Alyssa Barber Torres, PhD, FAICP, for her leadership and work over the past 2 years with APA Florida's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. Alyssa began working with the committee from its inception in August of 2019, initially serving as co-chair and spearheading the drive to survey APA Florida members to get input on how diversity and inclusion were perceived and what improvements could be made. The survey formed the basis for the committee's strategic plan, work plan, resource list, and the EDI page on our chapter website. Over the last 2 years and through a global pandemic, the committee continued to meet virtually every month. Members of the EDI committee have had to tackle some uncomfortable conversations in and outside of their meetings while doing this hard work. Alyssa has handled these instances with grace, understanding, and patience, yet with the firmness needed to move such hard work forward. The accomplishments of the EDI committee in such a short time would never have happened without Alyssa's relentless drive and passion to realize the goals of this committee. Accomplishments attributed to her leadership include the survey, the strategic plan, work plan, and resource list, and conducting EDI forums, producing newsletter articles, issue statements and a policy statement, creating an outreach calendar, developing standard operating procedures, engaging with national divisions, producing the first lessons from leaders' videos, and collaborating on multiple conference sessions and events with close to 400 attendees. She's worked in partnership with APA Florida's Executive Committee on a variety of steps to take the EDI committee from an ad hoc committee to a standing committee and bring that perspective to both our FPC 20 and FPC 21 conference sessions. Can you imagine that was all done in the last 2 years? It is incredible. Alyssa, come on up and join me in congratulating her. All right, now that my glasses will unfog, it is next my great pleasure to present the capital area section with our next award for outstanding community engagement related to planning for all ages. In 2019, the capital area section began to explore the local age-friendly community initiative effort and identified a number of initiatives completed or underway. These efforts included AARP's awareness campaign for the Florida Age-Friendly Community Network, age-friendly initiatives in the Tallahassee-Leon County Comprehensive Plan, the City of Tallahassee AARP Age-Friendly Community Work Plan, the designation of FSU as an age-friendly campus, and city age-friendly improvement projects, including enhancements to the Bond Linear Park, partially facilitated by an AARP challenge grant. The section launched an education series to focus on the individual efforts underway and look for connections and collaborative opportunities to expand the age-friendly community concepts within Tallahassee. It was apparent from those participating in these workshops, they were not only sharing with the audience, but with each other, in some cases for the first time. There were clear aha moments when ideas for future collaboration surfaced. The audience benefited by getting a broad exposure to age-friendly efforts from macro approaches at the state and federal level down to specific on-the-ground infrastructure projects. No one from the capital area section was able to stay. They have a long drive back to Tallahassee, but we will be getting them that award in the coming weeks on one of my multiple trips to Tallahassee this fall. But join me in congratulating the section. All right, and our final leadership award, it is my pleasure to recognize Jessica Klutz as the Student Planner of the Year. Jessica is a recent graduate of the Master of Urban and Regional Planning program at FAU, Florida Atlantic University. She began her planning education at FAU in the Bachelor of Urban Design program and then proceeded to the Master of Urban and Regional Planning program, where she worked on real-world assignments to gain experience and knowledge in the applications of planning principles. In 2020, she worked alongside classmates to create a comprehensive revitalization plan for approximately 2,500 acres of the city of Deerfield Beach to address the concerns of an aging community. In creating this plan, she helped to host several public meetings to present proposals and receive feedback from citizens, planning staff, and city commission members. This feedback was then directly implemented in improvements to the plan. But she wasn't done. After completing this project, she felt more could be done to help the community achieve better walkability and recreation facility access. So for her final project in the program, she developed a pedestrian loop trail to connect parks, neighborhoods, and local businesses. The design for this trail was based on considerations for safety and the natural environment. The project was then submitted to the city to be added to the previous plan for potential future implementation as part of the overall improvement efforts. While at FAU, Jessica served as both secretary and president of the student planning organization. For the last year, 2020 to 2021, Jessica was also the university's student liaison to the Broward section of APA. She was also a graduate research assistant at FAU and worked with faculty members on projects related to walkability, public health, and the impact of sea level rise on South Florida communities. Jessica is now working as a planner with Davidson Engineering in Naples, a role she hopes will allow her to see positive change in the community through smarter development and community outreach. She is also pursuing AICP certification. Please join me in congratulating Jessica on this award. Okay. So there is one more. If you recall, on Wednesday, we had a project award that was won by the Miami-Dade TPO for an award of merit in innovation and planning for all ages, road safety audits, and older adult living housing. And we said that we would be giving that this morning. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Aileen Bouclé, the Executive Director of the Miami-Dade TPO, as well as the Vice Chair of the TPO, Bermudez. And now we're going to have them take a seat because they're part of our closing panel. But I want to introduce Aileen Bouclé. As I just said, she's the Executive Director for the Miami-Dade Transportation Planning Organization. Since joining the agency in 2016, she has been leading the charge along with the TPO Governing Board to provide mobility choices for the residents of Miami-Dade County through the local transportation planning process, and more specifically, the Strategic Miami Area Rapid Transit, or SMART plan, which you probably heard about in a number of sessions this week. The SMART plan is a bold infrastructure program of projects that will significantly improve transportation mobility in Miami-Dade County and the South Florida region. Aileen, who's there, has worked in the transportation field for over 25 years in both the private industry and with the Florida Department of Transportation. She holds a Master of Environmental and Urban Systems with a specialty in transportation planning, as well as a Bachelor of Business Administration from Florida International University. Aileen.
Thank you, Wyatt, and hasn't he done an amazing job? What a great conference. What an amazing job on everything that he has done. My hat off to him. I don't know that there is an award that I could even think of giving you, not just a regular conference, but a conference during a pandemic. If you only knew just a fraction of everything that he has managed last minute, pivoted, organized, just to do this amazing. I know he's saying it's a whole team, I get it, but Wyatt, let's just give him another round of applause. Thank you so much. So it is my distinct pleasure to bring to you this final panel. Just to bring it all home, we have 3 distinguished guests here today in this panel, 3 elected officials that are here serving in various capacities. All of them are with MPOs around the state. We're going to hear a little bit about their thoughts and perspectives on their initiatives and visions and policies in their areas, so we get to hear what are from the perspective of our elected officials. So I'm going to read to you in the order of presentation some background of our 3 distinguished guests. Our first speaker will be Chairwoman Liz Albert. She is a Sarasota-Manatee Chair of the Board and serves as a Sarasota City Commissioner. She is a family law attorney in Sarasota, and has been practicing since her admission to the Florida Bar in September of 2006. She graduated from Stetson University. While raising 3 daughters, she achieved her goal after taking classes on and off for more than 17 years. She practices family law, and she was appointed to the City of Sarasota's Human Relations Board, where she served until 2007. She is then appointed to the city's General Personnel Civil Service Board, where she served until her election to the Sarasota City Commission in May of 2015. Our next speaker is Madam Vice Chair Mayra Uribe from Orange County Commission Metro Plan. She was elected to the board of Orange County Commission District 3 in 2018. She is an Orlando native, born and raised in the district that she represents. Mayra is of Colombian and Argentinian descent, and she celebrates the diversity in herself and in her community. She is the proud wife of Kevin Stutton, director of Boot Camp for Dad, and mother to 16-year-old Faith and 2-year-old son Lincoln. She serves on several boards, including Metro Plan Orlando, East Central Florida Regional Planning Council, Community Action Board, and the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board. Prior to running for commissioner, Mayra was an aide to U.S. Senator Bill Nelson. She helped the citizens of Florida deal with concerns regarding the military, FEMA, immigration, transportation, and labor matters. And finally, last but not least, is our vice chairman, Mayor Bermudez, mayor and founding mayor of the city of Doral, and where he has served in that capacity for the first 9.5 years of the city's existence. He was re-elected as mayor of Doral in 2016, and he is currently a member of the advisory board of the United States Conference of Mayors, as well as the vice chairman of the Miami-Dade Transportation Planning Organization. During Mayor Bermudez's terms as a new city founder and subsequent city terms, he focused on infrastructure, creating and including the creation of the city's award-winning Finance and Parks Department. Under his leadership, the city added over 121 acres of playgrounds, ball fields, and recreational facilities, plus an additional acres of parkland. During his terms, the city received numerous national accolades, including being chosen the best city for business startups by Business Week, named number 2 of America's top 25 towns to live well in and for its cultural amenities, pro-business environment, and highly educated workforce by Forbes. It is named the 3rd best place in USA to retire by U.S. News and World Report, and was ranked the 51st best in top 100 places to live and launch a business in the United States by CNN Money. It was also ranked the 22nd best place to live by Money Magazine in 2018. Most recently, City of Doral was named the fastest growing city in Florida, with the 11th in the country by Florida International University. So I want to welcome our elected officials, our panel, and we're going to start off by our first speaker, which is Madam Chair Albert. We have a PowerPoint presentation at your pleasure. You can come up here or stay there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'm assuming this is the microphone. Thank you, everybody, for staying this afternoon. I can understand why everybody just kind of wanted to head out after being here all week. As she said, I'm chairing this year the Sarasota-Manatee MPO, and transportation sort of has been a passion of mine for a while. So when I first got on the commission in 2015, the first thing I did was ask if I could be one of the representatives to the MPO. So I've been serving on the MPO as long as I've been on the city commission. We just recently passed our long-range transportation plan, so that's what I'm going to be talking a little bit about on this short PowerPoint. Okay. Just to start out, so you have an idea where our MPO covers, it's a lot of beach communities, and it's basically the coast of West Central Florida: Sarasota, Longboat Key, Venice, Palmetto, Northport, Bradenton, Anna Maria Island, Bradenton Beach, Holmes Beach, Northport, and Sarasota County. Now, our overview of the board is we have 17 members, 9 cities, and then the Sarasota-Manatee Airport Authority, and the Florida Department of Transportation, of course, and who's a non-voting advisor. As I said, we just passed our long-range transportation plan in October, and we started on that in January of 2019 with a lot of community meetings and focus groups on what people were looking for. And the theme that everybody seemed to want was that we promote economic opportunities, preserve environmental health and sustainability, and provide place type and travel choices. One of the ways that we're accomplishing these things is, I don't know if you can tell on the map there, we've got the Tamiami Trail, US 41, and that's our major transportation corridor that we're going to be focusing on in terms of mass transit, in terms of we have 5 universities there, so an educational, cultural corridor, realizing that that's where a lot of the growth is going to happen. So that's our major focus. We're also focusing on our Port of Manatee as an economic driver to our area. We have 3 Major League Baseball spring training camps. So we've got a lot going on in that little coastline area. Our long-range objectives, of course, are to reduce the vehicle miles traveled. I think that's what everybody wants to do. Safeguard artificial habitat, wetland, and endangered species. And as you know, for Florida and everybody in our state, the environment is really important and really plays a big role in how we plan our transportation. Support green infrastructure, achieve climate adaptability, promote environmental and public health, and increase infill development and reduce urban sprawl. So in our focus groups and in our forums that we had with the public, the environment was probably the top priority of our group. When we're making our transportation decisions, that's what we're looking at, is what's going to be the environmental impact of that decision, especially, again, with climate adaptability, resilience. You know, we want to make sure that our highways will still work if we have a hurricane or other natural disasters that could come up. Some of the things we've been doing regionally is resilience planning, and we have been doing that also in the city of Sarasota, where we looked at every asset that we have in the city for resilience and what we needed to do. So we're doing the same thing at the NPO. Currently, we've got 3 studies going on in order to implement this long-range transportation plan, and one is the Transportation Alternatives Study, as I said, along our US 41 to try to see what kind of transit choices we can provide. Right now, one of the big things that we're doing is that we're creating a series of roundabouts that will actually transform much of that corridor in terms of walkability and connectivity and also traffic calming. A safety plan for cutting down on fatalities and serious injuries. So I think probably everybody in the state is doing that, Destination Zero. And as I talked about before, the resiliency and vulnerability assessment. I'm not going to read the whole slide to you, but those are some of the things that we're doing, is looking at the hazards and the security assessments, the resiliency, and assess our mitigation and what we need to do to make sure some of these things don't happen. So our phase 1 is the inventory of our transportation assets and all of the things listed there. I'm going to just go through this really fast because I know everybody wants to get out of here. Phase 2, our online resiliency tool, our stakeholder engagement, and our study effectiveness. Everything we do in the MPO, and I'm sure that's the same for everybody at the table here and everybody in this room, is you've got to have community involvement, the stakeholder involvement, and then make your plans. And any questions? All right, we'll wait till the end. Okay, thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. If we could cue the music so everybody could get up. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's that kind of party in Orlando. While we wait for mine. My name is Myra Uribe. I'm the county commissioner in Orange County. And I know when they read my bio, they said I was born and raised in the district that I represent. And for all of you in here, you know that's very unusual. I'll even take it a step further. I've only moved once in my life, and that's when my husband and I bought our house. So I'm a good Catholic girl. I was home till I got married. And I only moved 1 mile north of where I grew up, literally. And it says a lot of actually what drove me to be here today as an elected official. But before I go on any further, I actually want to thank all of you. Because, see, I'm an elected official, and I have a timestamp, and I have a vision, and I have an idea. But it's all of you in this room that help make that vision a possibility. It's all of you in this room that help us navigate the system with all of your education and knowledge and everything you bring to make us better commissioners and elected officials. So if we could give you guys all a round of applause for everything you do and being here. And a special shout out to Table Orange County that is here that I'm so proud of, guys. They came just to cheer me on. But it kind of brings back, you know, why I'm here and what drove me here. It actually, I have one of those stories. I was teasing, I said I'm the only non-attorney up there. But it was a passion for seeing things differently. It was a passion for realizing there's growth that's happening and how can we preserve our communities and also how can we grow. And at the end of the day, being a mom, how do we make it better for the next generation of people who are going to grow? So I want to go ahead and start. I am the vice chair. Oh, thank you. Okay. I am the vice chair of my board and hopefully incoming chair. I was elected in 2018, and transportation was very important to me. So I immediately got on this board, became the chair of the disability board, which to me was unusual because when I said I wanted to be the chair of the disability board, they were like, really? Because nobody wants that role. But realizing that that is very important when we go on in my slide, when we talk about public safety and access and everything else. So here we go. So Metro Plan, which is kind of cool because everybody has a TPO and an MPO and all these other things. We're Metro Plan. We have 3 counties, Orange County, Seminole County, and Osceola County, 22 cities, 13 of which are in Orange County. And right there it says 2.2 million residents. I want to go a step further. Orange County alone has over 1.4 of those. So we're talking about an enormous situation. Over 75 million visitors prior to COVID, and 25 board members, 227 committee members, and 18 professionals on our staff. We have our MTP and our TIP. Our MTP is more of our long-range plan, and our TIP is our short-range. If anybody has been through Orlando or Orange County or anywhere between Tampa and Jacksonville, you guys know of our Ultimate I-4 project. That is a continual, I think it started 25 years. It's always been on the TIP, and it'll be on the TIP forever, too. But we're making progress. So if you haven't been through there recently, we are really making progress and do see a light at the end of the tunnel for what we were supposed to be. But I've always believed, and I'm sure many of you in here can say, and we can all agree, we're always working on the past. We're not working on the future, but then actually being in my role, it costs a lot to think about the future and stay in on top of that. Critical issues and perspectives. Unfortunately, Orange County and Orlando is one of the top 5 most dangerous and deadly cities in the nation for pedestrians. It is something that we have had a title for a very, very long time, and it's something that we're working very much with. Affordable housing also, and I'm going to want to go into affordable housing because as much as we are highly populated, we have some of the lowest paying wage jobs also dealing with our hospitality industry. And now, and many of you in this room can agree, and everyone on this table, curtail that with trying to get people to do that job. So, pedestrian safety. 47% of Central Floridians are employed but still struggle to pay their basic needs because at $10, $11, or $12 an hour, it's just not possible. But what has happened now is those hospitality jobs, those housekeeping jobs are now paying $16 an hour, but something minimal to start. But what we're seeing a rise in is our bus drivers and our other jobs have not increased. You actually could be a disadvantaged driver and only get paid $13 an hour, and it's a high-stress job where you're caring for people, you work 7 days in all hours, and quite frankly, you're exposed to a lot more. So what are you gonna go do? Clean rooms at 16 or drive people at 13? So it's an ever-changing issue, but sadly, although we're paying more, the cost is so high, and we're gonna see it go higher, just like we're seeing in products, just like we're seeing in everything across the board. And a lot of times we're saying, well, so much cost increase, but we all know, and it's gonna head back to transportation, is that freight cost to get here is what is really, really getting us. $315,000 is the median cost of a house in Central Florida. And rent, over $1,500. Combine that with low-paying jobs. What we're seeing is multi-generational families live together. You're seeing 2, 3 families living together. It is impossible to survive. And combine that with not adequate public transit, not adequate abilities. And we have, I'm sure many of you know Orlando, we have a corridor called International Drive. 50,000 residents work on International Drive. If you ever are in Orlando, International Drive is a great nightlife. We have a Mangoes, and we have the Wheel, and we have all these great things. And you know what? They're open late, and they're open early, and shifts are all over the place. But yet on a Sunday, if you work on iDrive and you have to work past 9 o'clock, there's no public transportation to get you home. So you better work an extra hour to pay for Uber or have someone pick you up. And also, if you work along iDrive and live anywhere in unincorporated Orange County, you're looking at about a 2 to 3 hour time on public transit to get to work. So combine that with the job. When I talk about pedestrian safety, over 1,400 people, and unfortunately that number has gone up, of pedestrian deaths. We have put a lot of effort and money and investment in what we call best foot forward, and trying to get safety, pedestrian safety. And we put this emphasis, ironically, a lot on the vehicles. So we'll have these police officers come out and they walk across the street, and if you beat them, they're ticketing you. I actually think we need to be doing more of pedestrian education. We need to educate our community. How many people can see a pedestrian sidewalk and feet before or feet after people are crossing? And you're like, the crosswalk is right there. So we have to do more on that part. It is a tragedy. If anybody knows Orange County too, we have a main road called Orange Blossom Trail. It's a very, very long road. It is the deadliest road in Orange County. It is the deadliest road, combined with not enough lighting, combined with a lot of residential along in that area, a lot of combination of industrial and commercial use. So you're talking big trucks, lots of cars, lots of people, lots of weekly rentals, lots of children. We actually have one, we just had a public hearing. We have one unit that has 102 rooms, and we have 75 children that live there and go to the public school system. That's how much we're seeing in this. And of course, injuries are going to be combined with that. Unacceptable safety conditions. Metro Plan Orlando, we want to get that safety factor under control. We are investing tremendously. We want people to feel comfortable out when they're walking. We want people to walk places, and we want to provide that safe environment. And not to mention all of those millions of visitors who come and visit us. Along our iDrive corridor, there's restaurants, there's SeaWorld, there's Universal, there's water parks, there's places to go, and we want them to walk. But we want to make sure when they come walking, they're safe. And add to that curtail, when I talk about pedestrian education, how many people who are from other countries who aren't used to how we do things? So that is another one. We're trying to get to the root of the problem, and it's something that we are prioritizing tremendously. I kind of hate to say this, but sometimes my way of getting around public works and getting a sidewalk is proving that it's a crosswalk area. And so then I have to have a sidewalk. So it allows me to use money from here to help this and help those communities to improve. We also focus on accessibility, promote alternative forms of transportation, and find supportive projects and programs, something I'm very proud of. And it's not just me. There's a team of county commissioners. We have a CRA. You guys are familiar with CRAs along I-Drive. I've fought tooth and nail to make sure that we have public transportation that works the hours that the people who work along I-Drive are afforded. Because if we're going to invest millions into beautifying and this and that, we need to invest in our own residents who are taking care of those visitors that come to Orange County. So right now we're doing a study where we're going to actually have what we call workforce transportation. It's amazing to me that it's just being talked now. It's 2021. I-Drive has been there. I used to drive up and down when I was in high school. It was a cool place. It's been there a long time. So it's way overdue, and finally we're getting there. But I think it's hopefully new ideas, getting out of the status quo, pushing that envelope, and having the support from the county staff that realizes sometimes you need people like us to help push that measure, but it's people like all of you that help us get there. So that is all I have. I can say a lot about this, about Orlando and Orange County. I just want to add also, when you think about how much we're growing, it's unbelievable when you think of the Walt Disney Corporation is now moving from California to Orlando. So we're about to grow even more. You think about the new park, the biggest park that Universal Studios has ever built, called Epic, that has already started breaking ground in Orange County. And then something quite fascinating about us as we curtail transportation is that we're going to be probably one of the first cities that will have an airport that has train, bus, and planes when Brightline finishes up their route to Orlando. So we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to sprawl. 1,000 people are moving to this state and are moving to our area every week. So we have to be smart how we do it, but I think that as we grow, let's not forget the people who are there. So again, thank you for what you do, and thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Juan Bermudez. I'm the mayor of the city of Doral, as previously mentioned, and the vice chair of the Miami-Dade County Transportation Plan Organization. It's an honor to be here. I do want to thank a couple of people. First, Eileen does a great job. If you've ever tried to keep 20-plus elected officials in Miami-Dade County going in the same direction, you know that she's going to be up for sainthood soon. So, second of all, certainly I want to thank everybody in the TPO that helps here in Dade County make our jobs a lot easier and possible. And there's a couple of people here from Doral, including some of our planners. A shout out to them. And obviously, I want to reiterate what Commissioner Uribe said, which is thank you all for making us, the elected officials, look a lot better and leading us in the right direction. Anybody that's been in local government knows that one of the tendencies is that some of the elected officials think they're smarter than they really are. So thank you for getting us in the right direction. We have a short video, right? Which button do I push? The green one? So hopefully this works. Here we go. We'll try it again.
One of the important roles that the TPO has is to form transportation policies and create partnerships that help satisfy our transportation goals.
In 2016, the Miami-Dade TPO Governing Board established rapid transit as the highest priority for the county. The TPO Board unanimously adopted the 6-corridor SMART Plan and funded the required environmental studies. Since then, several key project milestones have been accomplished. This also includes a 90-mile Bus Express Rapid Transit, or BERT, network. As a result, the Northwest Miami-Dade Express BERT line began service from the Miami Gardens Drive Park and Ride after its groundbreaking ceremony. The SMART Plan is also commonly referred to as the SMART Region, connecting Southeast Florida from Monroe to Palm Beach counties. The TPO Board approved the South and North corridors to advance to Priority 1, followed by a series of actions to accelerate these projects. For the South Dade Transitway Corridor, the TPO Board adopted Bus Rapid Transit as the locally preferred alternative, which will operate from the Dadeland South Metro Rail Station to Florida City. The county received 2 federal funding grants to advance this project as a gold standard bus rapid transit facility. For the North Corridor, Miami-Dade is currently advancing a request for proposal for the design, construction, finance, operation, and maintenance service for an elevated fixed guideway transit system. This corridor has been endorsed as a strategic intermodal facility by the Southeast Florida Transportation Council, as well as the Miami-Dade and Broward MPOs, representing support for the future economic growth of the region. For the Beach Corridor, the TPO Board adopted the locally preferred alternative in 3 sections. First, elevated rubber tire technology along the MacArthur Causeway. Second, dedicated transit lanes along Washington Avenue. And third, extending Metromover north to the Design District. For the Smart Region Northeast Corridor, Miami-Dade County started discussing steps necessary to implement the commuter rail service along this Smart Plan corridor. The West Aventura Station was the first to break ground. For the East-West Corridor, the TPO Board adopted Bus Rapid Transit as the locally preferred alternative from the Tamiami Station Park and Ride, with express service to the Miami Intermodal Center and downtown Miami. One of the new express bus services was started along State Road 836 from the Dolphin Station Park and Ride to downtown Miami. For the Kendall Corridor, the environmental phase is currently underway from the Dadeland North Metro Rail Station to Chrome Avenue. The TPO Board also adopted a Smart Plan demonstration program focused on advancing first and last mile connections and new technology options for the region. Between 2018 and 2020, 37 demonstration projects were approved in coordination with the Florida Department of Transportation, Miami-Dade County, the Transportation Trust, and municipal partners, providing new mobility options countywide. As part of a comprehensive multimodal approach, the TPO Board adopted the Smart Trails program, providing key pedestrian and bicycle connections to the rapid transit corridors. The success of the Smart Plan has been based on strong regional collaboration, and as the plan continues to advance, coordination at the federal, state, regional, and local level will continue to be essential.
Well, there you have it. That covers probably everything I was going to cover. But actually, I do want to say a couple of other things that are important. And one of the things that's in there, which is the smart demonstration programs, a lot of the municipalities in Dade County, including ours, have benefited from, and has been a tremendous success. When you have 34 municipalities, and today we have about 57% of the county residents living in municipalities, about another 43% in the unincorporated areas, it's complicated to bring people together. One of the best things that's happened at the TPO, when I got reelected as mayor in 2016, we were over 50,000 residents, and we fought hard to get on the TPO precisely because we felt that the coordination between municipalities and the county was critical. Traditionally, the county TPO was really kind of duplicative of the county commission. And I think that there's been a great change in that. In fact, the TPO, via a vote, approved alternating chairs now that will not, every 2 years it'll be either a county commissioner or a non-county commissioner who could be municipal, school board, or appointed by the governor. So, and I think one of the most impressive things that has occurred in the last 4 years, and this I attribute in large part again, not only to Eileen and her team, is that we have finally found elected officials that are committed to trying to get these things resolved. Those of you who either grew up in Dade County and maybe moved away know that things like the East-West corridor have been spoken about for years but have never come to fruition. They're finally coming to fruition because elected officials sometimes have a difficult time making decisions because they weigh the politics as opposed to doing the right thing. And we finally had gotten to the point now that I think as a TPO, we've been making some tough decisions. And some of them have been, you know, pretty close votes, but we're finally getting there and we're making those decisions. And I attribute that to the leadership of the director to get us to go in that right direction. And the new elected officials, Chairman Gilbert, who couldn't be here today, who like myself also comes from a municipality, we are very focused and we understand that this is a collective effort, not only the 34 municipalities and the county, but also the two other counties, actually the 3 other counties that surround us. So there's a lot of, most of the things that I have on this paper were covered by the video, so I'm not going to reiterate it, but I do want to point out one thing that is critical for us, and it is going to be a debate. Those of you who are here from Miami-Dade County cities know it's going to be probably a very interesting debate, which is transit-oriented development. Commissioner Uribe talked about affordable or workforce housing. You can use the terminology you want. But the people that work in places like this, many of them live in places like Doral, where I'm mayor, and other places, or some go to work at the Doral Resort and the Intercontinental over there. And we need to make sure that also our teachers, our firefighters have places to be able to live. In Dade County, probably one of the only ways we're going to expand, and we're going to get people in an area where there are 2.7 million people, over 3 million cars. Think of that. We need to try to get people to either figure out a way to be attracted to public transportation. We're doing everything possible with the BRT and hopefully with some of the lines in the North Corridor. But I think it will take a change, and it will take a little bit of a change in mentality, and we will have to deal with things like workforce or affordable housing. Transit-oriented development in Dade County cannot happen unless the county and the municipalities, including mine, that abut these smart corridors reach a decision on how they're going to work on zoning. And right now, Chairman Gilbert, to his credit, is doing something. He's also the vice chair of the Miami-Dade County Commission, and to his credit, he's reached out to the municipalities to have input. We do think that will be one of the things that will spur, and hopefully will spur, more use of public transportation in Miami-Dade County. And we're looking forward to that. I'm not going to bore you with anything else. Some of you may have suffered Miami-Dade County traffic getting here today, Commissioner Albert, but it's okay. It's good. It's not that bad. If you go to LA, it's a lot worse. So nevertheless, thank you for being here, and I guess we'll sit down and take questions.
Well, thank you. Again, I would like to thank each of our elected officials that came here today. Thank you for your service, your passion to serve your communities, for running for elected office, and for doing what you're doing. That is why all of us are here. We're here to support you as professionals in this field. And at this time, we'd like to open the floor for any questions you may have. I'm going to try to finish us on time, so we have about 5 minutes, Wyatt is telling me. So if there are any questions for us, please raise your hand, and we'll engage you first.
Criticisms are accepted too, not just questions. It's okay.
All right, well, going once. I see a brave soul. Would you like to stand up, and if we have a microphone for you? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jacob York. I'm a student at the University of Florida, but I grew up in and around Orlando. So I guess I have a question for the Commissioner about the Sunrail and our public transit there. I know the Sunrail goes Sanford to around Kissimmee. I also know it's been plagued with issues of underuse, and I don't know if underfunding is the right issue, but certainly not creating the level of service it needs. And combined with links, I know we have a bit of a public transit system, but nothing particularly nothing that's usable the way, say, a New York Metro is. And I'm curious, has there been talk about kind of restructuring our transit system to make transit more available beyond just the I-75 or beyond just the International Drive corridor?
Yeah, thank you for the question, and I'm happy you grew up around Orlando. Too bad you didn't go to UCF, but okay. I actually agree with you 100%. It was one of the issues actually I ran on, because here all we did was jump on the Amtrak train and made it north and south. But yet, when you think of our residential population, it's east and west. And how could we have built or put together a Sunrail and realize the biggest university that we have with thousands, over 50,000 students, like UCF, doesn't have public transit? So I think it's a very viable question, but one of the worst things about our role, and I'm sure all of you know, is where do we pay for it? Right now, we're looking at doing a penny tax specifically for transportation, which is one of those issues that definitely needs to be addressed. But like all of you know, in this climate and political, it's difficult to get people to say, we want you to pay a penny up. Something we just did, which was a hard move, you talk about guts as an elected official, is We just made all of our transportation impact developers go from around the 38% average to 100% on transportation impact fees, because we firmly believe, how do you go to the public and say, pay up, when we haven't made the developers pay for their fair share of transportation? So I hope, and I hope you guys agree with that we had to do that. We got undermined by the legislature in Tallahassee, which hurt us in a lot of counties and cities across the state. So we had to make a bold move, but it's exactly for that issue. So I'm hoping, I know it takes so long to get things done, so I'll be out, hopefully not in the ground by the time it happens, but that we can start making this, we're talking about it now, and we can hopefully get a vision for that to happen. So thank you, and great question.
I would like to add that my counterpart in Metro Plan, Gary Huntman, your executive director, has an amazing long-range transportation plan, short-range transportation plan, in which he is working towards these issues. The revamping the network, seeing how we can maximize on Sunrail and the other tiers, tier 1, 2, and 3 of transit. So they're doing great work in Orlando, and I often collaborate with Gary in Orlando since we have similar issues here in Miami-Dade County. Thank you for your question. Are there any other questions or comments from the audience? There was someone. I don't see. Okay, excellent. Thank you.
How has the pandemic and the hesitancy towards social interaction, density, and just being together affected the ability for transit to move forward in our future?
I might jump in for the first minute and then turn it over, so I think this answer applies to all MPOs in all areas of the state. I will tell you that it's impacted transportation in as much as it's impacted every other industry that's out there. So what's happened in particular with transportation is we've gone back to a model we've tried to introduce over decades, telecommuting, trying to, we find a greater, stronger linkage with telecommunications and transportation more than ever. So we've actually introduced in Miami-Dade County TPO a telecommuting pilot program where we're actually encouraging the use of telecommuting and have officially adopted it as an official commuter group here in Miami-Dade County. Not only does it help us address traffic congestion issues, but it allows us to pivot and be more resilient in cases such as a pandemic and other emergencies. We have hurricanes in the state of Florida. We have other needs to be able to continue to conduct business in ways that are not traditionally in a physical setting. So we're looking at how we're incorporating the development of our telecommunications network alongside with our transportation network. But I will tell you one thing, the demand for transportation has not gone away. The demand for transit has not gone away. We're almost at pre-pandemic levels here in Miami-Dade County, and the reason is that growth is going to continue to come. We're going to have a continuation of business development. We might change social structures, how we're interacting, but we still need to have mobility options. I'd like to turn it over to any of the elected officials on any other comments on that.
No, I think that you hit everything, Eileen. I will say one thing that's important for us, and I think we are seeing that pre-pandemic number come back. We have a very unique situation. I'll give the example of our city. Our trolley system, which we got from the half-penny sales tax, the portion that goes to municipalities that was passed back in the early 2000s, is before the pandemic, we had almost 1 million riders. Now that the university is back open, FIU, one of the pilot projects, the timing, from the public policy side of having the municipalities and their transportation systems coordinate with the county's transportation system, their buses, whether it's bus rapid transit or regular buses, is critical. And that is something that, as Eileen said, was very impacted during the COVID crisis, but everybody's back to using it. In fact, using them so much, in particular with students, that they're complaining and they want more trolleys in our city to connect with Florida International University. So I don't see. I think we're going to be back to normal soon. And yes, I do think there will be people that will be. Telecommuting is an option. It's something that we would like to have more people do that. But realistically, some of these predictions in particular on the commercial side of people getting back to offices eventually. Example, Carnival Cruise Lines, it employs a number of people in Dade County and in Doral. At some point, they're going to come back to the office, probably this November. And all those people have to get to work to their headquarters in Doral. So, you know, the idea that we're all going to work from home is not going to work for everybody. So we'll see what happens. It remains to be seen.
I mean, I can echo what's being said, but I want to take a different angle, which is our disability transportation. We are being slaughtered on disability transportation. We don't have drivers. We have sick people on disability transportation. We have exposure tremendously, and we have people with underlying conditions. We cannot fulfill neither the drivers nor fulfill the rides right now. It is a major, major issue, and then on top of that, they're underpaid. So we've got a combination of getting these federal funds, how can we use them, but the need is there and the ridership is up, and sadly, and we have COVID out of control in Orange County. I mean, we're still surrounding about 20% positivity rate, and our death rates are going up tremendously. And it's almost like a gamble on our disability transportation riders, because we know people need to get to dialysis who are sick. So it's tough, and we're going to be dealing with this for a long time. So I just wanted to go on a different side of the transportation.
It's on. It's on.
Okay. I don't have a lot to add, because I think we have the same challenges that everybody's talking about. Certainly mass transit ridership dropped off tremendously. Now it's built back up to where it was, but I think we are going to, with the Delta variant and more people getting sick, I think, you know, it's going to affect the ridership again, and it's going to start falling off again.
All right, so I think that concludes our panel. I'd like to thank you for staying with us until the very end. And once again, thank you to our guests, our elected officials. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. And our fearless leader, Wyatt Bowers, again, I think we should give him a standing ovation here. Thank you.